9. Yizza! Aww.
Peace, Queen.
You did it.
On this lovely evening.
I'm so much better now because you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Hi.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing well.
Okay.
Is it my birthday today?
Oh! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shanti.
Happy birthday to me.
I knew you were going to do something. I was waiting for it. I thought you were going to start running and riffing and stuff in the last part. Happy birthday, beautiful. It's not really a birthday.
It's Sag season.
No, it's not. We're going to celebrate your
Sag season. It's in the air. I feel it in my bones. I feel it more than I've ever felt Sag season in my body in all of my years, in many, many moons. I'm feeling very impulsive. I'm feeling very excited, excitable. I'm feeling very optimistic, energized. This is all good energy for me, and I'm riding it, and I'm not feeling ashamed about it. So shout out to all the Sages out there. I hope you guys are riding around and getting it for the 9 and the 2000s, because we're special beings and we're necessary and needed. So stand in that. I have been also revisiting pleasure activism. If you're an OG Around the Way Curl listener, you remember when we fumbled through that book. Attempted to say big words and make sense of it together as a community. I'm revisiting it just as a reminder that, to dive into life. Life can be delicious. To seek out joy and pleasure, that it is a really powerful thing. And it was interesting because I was down at the Christmas Village and there was a protest with Union Santa. And so there were a bunch of union workers with the Union Santa playing drill drums and fucking it up. And the joy that they spread and the energy that they shared and how expansive it was. I was like, this protest or this resistance or us making sure that we're heard and seen doesn't always have to be so fucking doggedly. It doesn't have to be rooted in struggle. It can be rooted in joy and pleasure and sharing and dance and good music and infectiousness, because that got far more attention and involved than them, complaining.
Remember that video I took during the rallies that went viral?
It made me think of that. And if you are not familiar with pleasure activism, it is a book by Adrienne Marie Brown, and she is very, very inspired by Audre Lorde. And
And what? Hold, please. Take it. Just everything's fine. We're here. Oh,
sorry. She's super inspired by Audre Lorde's poem about, I can't get the exact name, but it's just about resistance.
Power in the Erotic?
Power in the Erotic. God damn.
That's what it's called. Why couldn't you just ask me? You ain't trust me?
Oh, I did. I thought you were picking up what I was putting down, but I guess you did not. Anyway, y'all should check out the book. It's a collection with many different contributors. It's not just Adrienne Marie Brown, but she interviews a lot of people to figure out what brings them joy and how it's helped them in their lives. It's a really powerful
Uses of the erotic. The erotic is power. Apologies.
If you've never read that essay and memorized it, like I obviously haven't, you should.
It's on YouTube if you want to hear her read it. It's amazing.
Something you should listen to every day. My God. I think I'm going to listen to it every day until my birthday. Thank you for that.
Yes, Shanti. Let's make sure we link that in the bio or in the description.
Like, come on. Also want to shout out Big Jolie, who came to the Christmas Village. She's a listener. She was such a beautiful woman, and she very confidently and kindly shared that she was a listener and that her name was Jolie as well. And to all the many Around the Way Curls listeners that have come to events and purchased things, I appreciate you. If you're in the Philadelphia area, I will be down at the Christmas Village in Love Park selling wares from the Sabre Collective. Come through with the come through. I'd be happy to see you or shop online. So those are my spiels. All is well. Thank you for the birthday love.
In other news, I still have not seen Black Panther, and I have shame.
You should be full of it.
I don't know what's going on with me. I haven't been able to get there. I'm just full of shame. And I also haven't been able to see Woman King. And the thing that I also have a lot of shame about is I'm so excited about Avatar 2, which says so much about me. White people saving the world, hate it, but love it.
I'm so nervous about them coming out with that.
It could be bad, right?
After like the woke era has woken up, like not
I'm
them
nervous.
trying to do it again with these indigenous aliens.
I know. It might not slap. And then Zoe's in it. You know Zoe's tricky.
Why JoJo look just like those avatars, though? That's my baby right there.
No, the person who looks like those avatars is Willow with her little beautiful self. Willow Smith is an avatar, actually. Anyway, I need to see these movies, and I'm going to. Maybe I will prioritize that this weekend.
It's part of your joy. It's a pleasure.
There you go. Also, it has been 100 and, well, by the time this comes out, it will be 140 days since Beyonce released Renaissance, and we don't have a visual. And at this point, I feel like it's violent.
Slow.
I think that she's playing with us. I think it's rude. I don't think that she's being kind to her audience. I feel like she's just dangling carrots. I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship, and I don't like it. And I'm sick of looking at this picture of her on this horse.
Us, and we're having a hard. All the generous gifts that she gave us that we didn't ask for.
No, you're only as short-term memory. You're only as good. What have you done for me lately, Beyonce?
Still bumping Renaissance and loving it to death
every day.
And still not happy. She said, "Die
it's
slow."
Crack. It's crack. It's crack. So it's getting tricky for me. I was realizing that I have neglected like almost all other music. So like I still have not listened to WizKid's album because I'm still playing Renaissance.
These motherfuckers ain't stopping me. These motherfuckers ain't stopping me.
I know. I pull up on these hoes. I look so good. Anyway, I saw a tweet and I thought about you. Oh, no, first, I need to congratulate one of my bestest friends up here in the New York cities. Angela had her baby.
And
I must say, you had the same thought that I had when I showed you that picture. I said, that is a beautiful baby. That is a beautiful baby.
Babies don't
that baby
come out
came
beautiful
out
now. Let's be honest.
I came out weird. I came out tricky. But Angie's baby came out plump and round. And
facial features defined in proportion. Soft. Not her smiling.
She's
peaceful.
Smiling in her sleep. She's so cute. So that's another reason why I want to fight off whatever this is I'm getting because I want to meet this baby so badly.
Get well.
So I don't
Listen,
know. Either way, I'm going to have a mask on because I'm not playing with my little niece, but I cannot wait to meet her. And I also saw a tweet from Sylvia Bell. And she responded to another tweet that said, a woman on the Clock app said that when she was pregnant, 2 of her teeth just crumbled out of her mouth.
oh,
With a meme of
what?
Regina, what's her name? I can't remember the name, but she holding her face like this. And Sylvia said, her response was, I'm going to need y'all to start reinforcing the pros of motherhood because the cons list is getting too steep. And then I thought about it and I said, let me ask Shanti what the cons of motherhood is outside of loving your the pros, outside of loving your child. Because I feel like I know the cons. And I feel like some of y'all have turned me off to the idea of this series. So I'm just like, remind me of the pros.
Oh, you learn to think about somebody besides your motherfucking self?
I already do that. Next. What else?
Your breasts get bigger. Your
I don't want that.
Stretch so that they're wonderfully, deliciously licked.
Oh.
You get to see yourself do one of the hardest things that you've ever done and know that you can do it, and you're called to do it over and over again. You see the benefits of
labor,
or just not labor, but love more than anything. Like it's not just you doing hard work that makes your kid awesome. It's you having fun with your kid and loving them and kissing them and giving them attention. And you get to see this dope being. Like, I'm obsessed with JoJo. Beyond what I think I instilled in her, she's way better than I could have ever imagined her being. She's just like, and I have access to her, and she fucks with me by default. Stop. That's crazy.
I love that. Look at my face.
She's fun. She's a lot of fun.
She is.
And she's like out in the world, and you get to watch her like engage in life in a new way with new skills that you don't necessarily have. And so you get to see her like do life differently. That's amazing. And feels like another opportunity for you to live vicariously and force your desires onto her.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
I was smiling and then I was like,
no.
Wait. No, that's beautiful. I think you're right. That is worth your teeth crumbling out your mouth.
Also, Queen, don't blame that shit on your kid. I ain't never heard of nothing like that before.
Brush your teeth, sis. Anyway.
Brush your teeth crumbling.
That was beautiful because I saw so many responses and so many women who are not mothers yet saying that, like replying to it saying, yeah, because this shit, they expensive, they hard. Your life is over. I don't know. And I was reading it and I was thinking like, yeah, but you get to pour into somebody, but I knew that you could articulate it in a very different way.
Yeah. And it's not even just pouring. It becomes like this alchemy together. It's not, a baby's, the difficulty of a baby is only, a year?
I feel like it's longer than that, but.
The care of a baby, the intensity of a baby, but babies are fun.
In other news, something that I'm not having fun with is that we seem to have beef. It reared its ugly head last week when a picture of Jonathan Majors was released on the internet for a new film. A film about apparently a amateur bodybuilder who is struggling to create long-lasting relationships. Anyway, that's the plot. I don't know. Don't ask me. But this man just looked like he was made in God's image. Mm-hmm. And I responded to that. I even sent it to you so you could enjoy. Sharing is caring. Uh-huh. But you accused me of gaslighting you.
Story, what happened? Go the sequence from beginning to end so we can be real clear.
What was the sequence?
Exactly.
What was the story? Tell me the story.
You do it.
I
You
I
decided
don't
to put
know.
this on here. What
I'm
happened?
gonna put it on here because
Go back to
I
the
stand by
thread.
it.
Go to the thread
Go
and
back to
let's
the
see what
thread. Okay, I'm
happened.
gonna go to the thread. Let me
All
go to the
right.
thread real quick. I posted about it.
Uh-huh.
Do I need to read it? Was the tweet the problem? Do I need to read what I tweeted? Or can we bypass
I
that?
don't have any sense of what you tweeted. I don't know what your
The
tweets
tweet was the
are.
first part of the post, sis. I said I should be jailed for the thoughts I'm thinking.
No. Because did I comment on that?
You commented on the post that this was in. Do you know how to work Instagram?
But what did I comment on the post that was in there?
I don't quite know what you're talking about.
Did I comment on their post about Jonathan Majors?
Okay, I posted my tweet response about the thing. Someone, Ashley, hey Ashley Lemonade, whatever. She said right in front of and added you, the Sable Collective though, because it was me posting about how I want to love him and do deviant things with him in the name of love.
Uh-huh.
I responded to her and said, she, meaning you, she has been unfair to him. She has withheld her love and support based off of who he chooses to love. She forfeited her rights to him long ago.
Okay.
Sorry, not sorry. That got 7 likes.
Okay.
She laughed at me. Ashley Lemonade laughed. You said to me, girl, keep my name out your mouth respectfully. I never said your name. Then you yelled at me in all caps, never count the kid out of nothing. So I responded and said, wow, wild how you just hop and skip and jump past all of the disparaging things you've said about him. But now your lusty self wants to forgive and forget. Make it make sense. Ashley responded and said, so Shanti, we need to put this congregation we talked about on my podcast to rectify him and AI, whatever, and get some of the fellow listeners onto this because crying face, it's getting severe up in here. You said to highlight how she gaslights me, right? Question mark. I responded and said, how to you? You didn't say mean things about this man and say you don't support him any longer. I have video footage. Shall I post? It's not gaslighting if it's true. Words mean things.
Oh, and that's all that was the thread. That's the end of the thread.
That actually is the end of the thread.
I didn't comment after that? There's no comment from
I don't
me?
know if you know how to work Instagram, but you don't have any comment on here afterwards. No. Yeah.
You and I have further conversation from there.
It's
I
not
was
on this
minding my
thread.
business.
Oh,
You
God.
posted a picture of Jonathan Majors. I said nothing of it.
I can bring you up.
I said nothing of it. Ashley brings me up. You then go on to undermine me, undercut me, and say, how dare you like Jonathan Majors after you said I
didn't say you. I said she has been unfair to him. I was responding to Ashley. I never called
Who are
your
you
name.
referring to?
She called me out for basically trying to take your man. I then responded to her and said and explained why this should not be an issue because I'm only stating facts. I'm not coming for you. I'm literally stating a facts.
And what are the facts? Be clear about what the facts are. I said that Jonathan, because I have a problem where I'm conflicted.
You don't support, you
I'm
don't
not
think
finished.
You like
Can I finish what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Because I said, and I can say that, right? I said, I don't support Jonathan Major. I'm conflicted. And that was, 2 weeks ago. In the weeks prior, I've continued to talk about Jonathan Majors and my conflicted emotions about Jonathan Majors. I haven't thrown him out of my, I can still objectify him. I can still think he's a beautiful person. Just because you have issue with somebody and conflict with somebody doesn't mean that you still don't think he's attractive and can be a part of I'm all of a sudden not allowed to think he's a beautiful being because I feel conflicted about his choices. That's a question.
This I feel conflicted is very interesting because that's
I can
not
say
the energy
no, but
you
regardless,
were giving.
But that even if I said I don't like Jonathan Majors dating a white woman, period, that means that I can't think that he's attractive and see pictures of him and say, damn, he looks amazing. I would like to have sex with him. I'm not saying
that you can't do that.
But that's what you just said.
That's not what I said.
I
said you're right. No, I said you're right. So you can have all the feelings you want to have. What I'm saying is, it doesn't mean that I can't now lust after him.
I never stopped you from that because that wasn't my comment.
Now? Do you think I can finish? That's not my comment. Do you think I can finish? Because I let you speak. I'm asking you, can I?
Go ahead, but stay on the facts of what we're talking about.
Because I am saying on the facts.
What's the main
argument? Speak? Do you think I can speak?
If you're speaking about what the facts are.
Do you think I can speak?
If you're referring to the original argument, because we have to have an original argument. I am talking about
the original argument. Okay. So very quickly. Okay, because this is ridiculous.
You brought it up.
Actually,
and then made it big, and then are mad at me because I'm defending myself.
I'm not telling you can't defend yourself. What I'm saying is, you. Is it okay if I talk?
I feel like
is it okay?
When you want to talk about gaslighting, this is it.
Shanti, because I don't agree. No, gaslighting does not mean just because you don't agree with somebody does not mean you're gaslighting them.
No,
I don't
the fact
agree. What I'm
okay,
saying is, Ashley said "wow" in front of the Sable Collective, which I responded like, "Girl, I can say whatever I want about him because she don't like him no more." She said, "I don't." All right, you know what?
You said I forfeited my right. Sorry, not sorry. She's out,
girl. Because I didn't want to talk about it. It's a picture of Jonathan.
And now you're gaslighting. I don't think you understand what gaslighting is.
Please wait. I want you to hear.
And you're pouring gasoline on it. That's wild to me.
We knew it.
That's wild to me.
I don't want to go see his shows anymore. I don't feel like I want to support him in the same way. And that's my problem.
Crazy. Our moms are white.
I know. I understand the complexity.
We know that, Internet. That's not the argument.
Stop getting all dazed over something.
Oh, my God.
Fuck up, okay?
I'm more mad she's skinny. Oh, that big old man.
Grow up.
Bro, get a woman. Get somebody with some meat on them.
Get somebody that's
be nourished. Have them bones skinny, but she can't even keep you warm. Let the real climate change happen. You gonna need somebody with.
She won't last. She's gonna get sunburned anyway. She ain't gonna handle. She's just gonna burn out in the sun. I'm sorry. I know I'm not well. I'm sorry if I'm making people prickle. I'm sorry to all the lovely white women that I love so much in my life as well.
Who deserve love?
Just not
Jonathan Majors.
Just not Jonathan Majors.
So I don't know if that's gaslighting by playing something that you said. That for me, I'm trying to explain after hearing that and after many conversations on this podcast, I didn't feel that you were still after Jonathan Majors.
Then why did you send me a text of him in the morning of his body?
Because I know that you think he's cute, but I thought the last time I did that, you literally were like,
I actually don't want to talk about this anymore.
Oh, you're getting mad.
I am, because this makes no sense. And I hope people hear it and be like, girl, that makes no sense. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Oh my God.
It doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make sense to me. It makes no sense.
I don't understand. If I'm like, yo. You
posted him. I didn't say anything because I didn't say anything to you. I responded to something else. Ashley says that, insinuating like, ooh, you like Jonathan Majors and are claiming Jonathan Majors. In the same vein, she's insinuating, I'm not saying I support it, in the same vein as AI. OG Around the Way Curl listeners, if y'all know, y'all know. She tagged me on that. I said nothing. I didn't respond to Ashley. I didn't say anything. You come up and say, Shanti can't say anything about Jonathan. Basically, your synopsis is because Shanti thinks...
No, she can't say anything about me saying something about him. Not you can't say anything about him. That's not what I said at all.
I didn't say anything about what are you defending yourself from? I didn't
I'm
say
to her,
anything.
not to you. That's my point. I'm not sitting here saying that
No,
you
you
can't
said
lust
she's
over him.
forfeited her right to lust over him.
No, her
because
rights to him, meaning like, oh, you're the only one. Like,
I
that's
never
your man.
had that.
This is so dumb.
That doesn't make
Like,
any
you're
sense.
the only one. That's your man. The way that
But you can't talk about him. You can't lust after him. You're Shanti. Your hands are off. You're out of the game because you don't like that he dates white women. Although on that very clip, you are similarly there. We're not arguing or sharing any different views on that clip that you just shared.
I said that was crazy.
But then
I said it was crazy when you were like, I support him. I don't think I like him.
Like, why are you talking about me? I don't have anything to do with this. And you're like, oh, don't say nothing about him. Girl, because you can't talk about him because you don't like the way he says.
Nobody was addressing you. That's what you're not getting. I never.
But you're referencing me, and you're saying in your reference to someone else about me, Shanti's out the game because she doesn't really fuck with him. So she's out. Sorry, not sorry.
I'm not.
And then you gaslight me and make me seem like I'm crazy because I say that's not a fair argument. And then you continue to try to prove the argument that's not fair with more proof of that, as if you're supporting an argument that doesn't actually make sense. Because regardless,
I think I just don't agree. Gaslighting is when I'm trying to convince you that you're not sane. And you
are making me feel crazy. That makes me feel crazy to be like, girl, you can't say nothing about him because he like white girls. And I'm like, no, I can not like that he dates white girls and want to have sex with
you're
them.
You're okay. This is done.
I can.
Also, it's not
and
just
that's what I've been trying to prove to you and try to say to you, but you continually undermine and cut that truth, which would end the argument by repeatedly saying, hold on, let me have more evidence of you. This was the dumbest 15 minutes, and this was your choice. But I'm standing by that two things can be at the same time. I can think he's gorgeous. I can lust after him and
disparage him
and be salty. I can do that. I can do it. And no one can take it from me, or I can't be out of the game because of the thing. Because why? It makes no sense. And then you laugh and mock like I'm crazy because I'm defending myself. No. You don't know what gaslighting is.
No, I'm not.
It's crazy to me.
That's crazy. I'm having No, I don't agree with you. I'm laughing at how mad you are. I'm not laughing and trying to convince you you're crazy.
I'm not mad for no reason, son.
I'm not saying you are, but I can still find it to be funny. We're on a podcast. I'm not trying to convince you that you're crazy. I just don't agree. That doesn't mean I'm gaslighting you.
All right, let's take a break because it's going to get awkward. But all right, cool. We're here now.
Oh my God.
Jonathan Majors is tearing us apart, and he hasn't offered to give us anything like a black man can. Fuck.
All right. I'm sorry, I don't know how that you have not laughed yet.
Because for real rap, it makes me feel crazy. It makes me feel crazy. Because I'm like, am I crazy?
I'm not saying that you're crazy.
What don't you agree with? Now I have no idea what you don't agree with in this moment. What don't you agree with?
I don't agree that it's just that that you could just be like, I didn't disparage him. I didn't like throw him out with the bathwater. I felt like you did on many episodes. Like, I know that you still think he's cute, but you're like, I washed my hands. Like, he's frustrating me. I don't think this is that big of a deal.
I don't know. I'm not. He's cute. He looks wonderful.
I thought this was going to be funny.
Ashley's
and this is breaking.
Sweet lemonade.
It's not. I thought this was going to be. I thought this was going to be a funny Allen Iverson back and forth.
Allen Iverson also is gaslighting and makes me upset as well.
Okay.
It does.
Okay.
It does. It's
all right.
real. It's
I
true.
think we can take this offline. I really, Obviously, there's something deeper.
No, it's nothing deeper. This is it. Like, if that makes me feel crazy. And even
All
if
right,
petty,
I'm not gonna
it's
keep
not like
laughing.
around any other deeper notions. It's just like, that's it.
All right, I
That's it.
apologize.
That's
I
it.
apologize. I will not play
I,
around with this.
mm,
I'm very seriously. I
mm,
won't.
okay. Yeah, all right.
Okay, moving right along.
This
Please
is
rate and
too much.
subscribe.
Not around the way curls. They like, here go another one where y'all are making everybody uncomfortable around we should actually edit this out.
No.
I don't know if, or cut it up so it's not this fucking long.
All right, let's listen to some voicemails from some listeners.
This is my birthday too.
No,
That's another thing.
First of all,
You
not
ruined my birthday.
You gaslight me. Now
This is the worst birthday
gaslighting
video.
around the way No,
First
you
of all.
gaslighting around the way curls because it's not your real birthday. It is December 9th. It will air on your birthday. Don't play with me. I would not argue like
Happy
like
birthday, Shanti.
Oh, see how you are. I'm playing a voicemail. You are nuts.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Hi, ladies. I literally just called with tips on how to ride, and this is not related whatsoever, but it's a question that I've always had, specifically for you, Shanti, the Sable Collective. I think it's amazing. I'm curious what the inception was. I don't know if you've ever spoken about that on the podcast. I'm not familiar with your blogging days. I wish I was. I don't know how I missed that. But you've been listening from day one, and I don't think I've ever heard you explain the inception of Stable Collective, like why you chose to go into like a boutique artisan business and the name and all of those things. I'm really curious about that because it's just, I don't know, I think it's really niche. It's like, oh my gosh, you found a market that you could fill and all these amazing things. So I'm just curious about that. Thank you.
Oh boy. I think we have an episode all around the Sable Collective, or maybe it was the Sable Collective just moving spaces. But it opened in 2016. I've always loved boutiques. I've always loved thrift stores. I've always loved shopping from a very young age. And it was around the time that my daughter was born that it kind of grew in me to start my own business. And it was always around natural hair originally. But life did what it did, and I was given access and around some people that were seasoned entrepreneurs, and we ended up being a partnership together, and it moved from being just like a hair-focused boutique, and incorporated more of the Black artisans, whether they be jewelry makers or authors or printmakers, clothing makers that we found online and were excited by online. And we're like, yo, it'd be really dope if we could put all of these brands that people are becoming more and more familiar with online in one space. And so we reached out to the brands, we opened up, and the Sable Collective was born. And Sable actually my dad has an old anthology book. Anthology? Just like an anthropology book, and it was around race. And there is a poem. I should find this for reference because this isn't the first time that someone's asked me this. But there's an actual poem, and I think it's by a Dutch slave trader at the time. And he's kind of like, I don't know if he's had a change of heart or if he's just fetishizing Black women. Probably the latter, but it's possible that he had like one of those come to Jesus moments. But anyway, he's talking about the skin of a Black woman, and he uses the word sable. And that before I even opened Sable, I remember that word and kind of capturing it in my mind. And we thought to open it, we thought the Sable Collective. So sable means like black, brown, deep, dark. It's an old word for black and brown, basically. And the rest is history, honey. Here we are. Riding around and getting it.
Dope. All right. Next up.
Hey guys, I'm the person who called asking for the Runaway community to give me some advice based on episode 214. Do I still know how to ride? And I realized after listening to y'all that I was not specific at all, and that I might sound like I don't know how to ride at all. And after listening to both Shanti's and that previous sister's advice, it's clarifying for me that maybe that is accurate. I really wanted to know, like, how to talk to these men, but I'm finding maybe I need to prioritize stretching and yoga and getting my legs in my rhythm right before I get to that talking step. Anyway, thank you guys so much. And thank you to that fellow listener. She sounds like a wonderful lover, and I would take that advice and put it into practice. Thanks so much for pouring back into me, y'all. Bye.
There it is. I love it too. I don't have much to say about it, but I love it. Shout out to that lady who called us with the tips and tricks.
Generous.
Kind. I don't know if I should play the next one. This was the one where people were offering insight into the different approaches that people take with us, and I just feel like maybe after the first, I don't know, it's up to you, sis, but I'm just like,
I don't know what it is. You have more sense of what they said than I do. Follow your judgment.
Okay, I mean, I'll play it and see. We can always cut it out.
Hi, Shanti, Antoinette. This is Bree calling from Dallas. I wanted to leave you a voicemail to let you guys know how much I love you. I think you guys are doing great. You are inspiring. You are talking about things that are profound. I was just listening to the episode with Black, and I wanted to talk about the brown skin privilege that you and Shanti think she has. Just to let you guys know that I don't know if people are caping for Shanti because she's brown skin and you're light skin. I have a lot of things in common with Antoinette. I normally write her on Twitter. I have a deep affection for Shanti, though. And I'm going to just say where I sometimes will cape in my head for Shanti is she seems to be hypercritical of herself. So it's kind of hard to call in and be critical on someone you already can hear is being hypercritical on themselves. And sometimes I don't know why, but it seems like in older episodes, like, Internet, I love you, and I don't want this to hurt your feelings at all, but it would seem like you would, like, I don't know, get on. I don't want to say get on to her, but, like, you seem like a little bit annoyed. And then sometimes when Shanti speaks, it's like, oh my God, like when she freaked out on the episode about the light, when she was doing the parenting episode, and she was like, oh my God, Internet's gonna be so sad. It's like she's like holding her breath. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it just seems like she's critical on herself. It seems like she's really trying to impress you. So I feel like that's why sometimes I would cape for her, because I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to add insult to injury, but yeah, I don't think people should be coming for you either. Oh my God, but I'm like literally doing that same thing. I'm so sorry. But that's just my perspective. I am brown, so I wonder if I have a bias, and I could. But I know you guys love each other a lot. I think you guys have the most really genuine friendship, sisterhood I've ever seen on a podcast. And I just hope you guys keep it up.
I would like to say, I don't think that you're coming for me at all on that. I think you probably are I don't know, hearing something that I'm not necessarily hip to, and I appreciate that. So I don't want you, Shanti, to ever feel like, I don't know, nervous or anything like that. I do think that I my personality, and in the background, I'm pushing and pushing and like pushing for us because I believe in us so much. And I especially believe in you and your brilliance and everything that you bring to the pod. And I don't know if I say that enough, but I want to take the time now to make sure I say it and acknowledge it. And so it might be stifling or feel like this hovering thing where it's like, I don't want to create an atmosphere where there's anxiety. That's not it. I want it to always be deeply rooted in my belief of us and my desire to see us reap the fruits of our labor and show up as our best selves and do our best, because it's gonna come back to us tenfold. But again, I think that I've learned a lot from you. And in the earlier episodes, I hope I was much worse then than what I am now. I hope that I'm thinking that I'm learning so much from you as well on how to approach partnership and business and just life, and not having to only be about productivity, that I hope I've eased up. But I don't doubt that people heard that kind of energy between us in the beginning. And for that, I apologize.
I think it was just a learning curve. And again, nobody can make you feel any kind of way. You can be tempted to feel a kind of way, but if anything, if there's anxiety or if there's insecurity there, that's my own grappling and my own thing that I think I deal with, especially around work stuff. But yeah, I don't feel like I'm hypercritical of myself on here, but maybe that's interesting to hear that.
It could just be you use self-deprecation as a like a joke. Maybe. It's like the way you joke.
Listen,
but
y'all everybody, this is therapy. Everybody know, like, listen, what I think is that, no, but it's interesting. It's wild to have so many people privy to dynamics and see things and see repetition and pick up on stuff and see patterns, and not be in a mirror to us. What the fuck? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, even in that, I actually don't think that is a plausible reason why people choose to pick on you or have critique for you in a particular way. I mean, I feel like what she brought up is a certain dynamic, but I don't know that feels like a reasonable reason. I think your way of being, your openness, your confidence, your beauty, all of these things is an automatic trigger for people to like project. Like, oh, and you're just, I don't know, I feel like you're just an easier target for that in the way that you present and show up in a different way than I do. So that's my theory of why people.
Yeah, the brown skin privilege thing, I think, is a joke, right? Like, I don't want people to really.
But maybe, I hope it is.
I think that we were joking. I don't.
But shit.
In some instances, though, when it comes to the race stuff, I don't think it's a joke. But like the other stuff where people got stuff to say about my voice and stuff, I don't think that has anything to do with that. Like, I think we joke about that. It's like easy to point to that and laugh because we're two biracial women that identity is tricky. Shout out to us, though. Look at us doing hard things. Okay, hopefully this one's lighter. I can't remember.
Hi, my name's Christina. It was great meeting you both at the She Did That Holiday Bazaar.
and realizing that you both are as amazing in person as you are on your podcast. My friend Alex and I decided that the Sable Collective was our favorite table by far, because it was the only one that we both liked. Thank you both for helping two Brooklyn transplants have a fun holiday shopping experience. Secondly, I really appreciate your reflections on gratitude in episode 220 because it reminded me to prioritize being more present with my family, cherishing the important moments and not being so career-focused that I miss out on investing time with the people I love most. My question to you both, what are your top 2 goals that you need to accomplish in 2023 that will get you closer to your long-term goals in life? Antoinette, sending well wishes and continued good health to your mom. Shanti, keep curating amazing products to grow the Sable Collective. Proud of you guys. Keep up the amazing work on your podcast, and happy holidays to you both. Bye.
I love it. So stick on top.
Sorry.
Fuck it.
You heard her? Killed it.
Why do we screen that? Because you know I wasn't prepared for that.
I know. I heard it was like, oh. I added this a little too late, and I forgot that was what she asked.
I think that I may actually have to come back to that.
We got to write the
long-term goals would be. Yeah, I got to think about that. We will. I promise I will return back to this. It may be on the final episode of this season.
Season?
Is this it?
We
Is
don't
this
have
the final
season.
episode?
No. We're recording next week.
More?
We have to record next week. We're recording on the 16th, I believe. That's the last. Oh my God.
We're going to talk about it then. That's when we'll talk about it.
We're going to forget. Can you start another outline?
Long-term
We're going to forget. All right, we'll come back, sis. I'm getting itchy thinking about what my 2 goals are that will help me further myself in my career and my life. Oh God, I'm not prepared. My goal for this episode, though, is to make sure you feel loved and supported and heard. I'm dead ass serious. You're not looking at me. She's not looking at me, y'all.
Hold on. Let me write this thing down before I forget how to do this.
Oh, it's on there. I just saw it. To make sure you feel loved and supported and heard and not gaslit. Y'all. And I'm proud of myself because all these little things that are happening, I'm not freaking out about it at all. Can you tell? So here we are. Can you take us to the Patreon, Shanti? What is Patreon?
To the long-term investment made by our patrons. Not y'all picking a tier and committing to it. Come through. B. Harrison, Kalia, Christy, Brittany, Brianna, either pronunciation.
Apples
Crystal,
or apples?
Frankie, Richie, Patrice, and Rachel. Thank you for joining the Patreon community. If you are interested in seeing this real life work here, making mountains out of molehills, and somehow finding a way to pathologize and do therapy.
Come on,
you can pay for it. And see our faces, the blushing, the eyes averting, the laughs, the giggles,
the anger, the visceral anger.
Please hit us up at 1-900-HUSTLER to also leave your what's the call? What is the number?
Shanti, what is the number, Shanti?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? We write it down every week in the description. So what can
Girl,
that
I
number
copy
be?
and paste that every week
You
in
are
the
so
description.
annoying.
You can also give us a call if you want to leave a message. If you want to help us help ourselves.
At 215-948-2780. That's 215-948-2780. All right. I think let's take a break. Let's actually take a break and then come back and finish this off. All right. With that, please sing.
Oh, I wasn't going to sing. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Boop. Okay.
Are we really going to go into this? I feel like
Yes.
that was the episode.
No, let's
That
just
was a provocative, juicy episode. This is completely random
duality.
now.
Come on, we gotta let's do our best. Wait, the other thing though is that whenever we're doing the voicemails moving forward, because I'm trying to navigate the speaker and my phone goes off after 30 seconds, so I have to like hold the phone down. Whenever I'm playing a clip, if you can write down the time,
yes,
okay?
Yes.
Because otherwise, I got to go back and find it for him. All right. You ready? This can be fast. I don't think there's that much to talk about, is there?
We're going to keep it short.
All right.
And we are back. I recently listened to an NPR interview with Michelle Obama. She was interviewed by Joanna Summers, and it was to discuss and promote her new memoir, The Light We Carry, Overcoming in Uncertain Times. And Michelle had a lot of tea, had a lot of advice to give the youth them. She talks about parenting. She talks about her own parents' raising of her. She talks about Barack and herself. She talks about preserving herself and also, overcoming in uncertain times. She talks a lot about the pandemic. What I was very interested in is her advice that she had about marriage and her critique. I feel like was she didn't at all focus on it, but she subtly critiqued our generation and our stamina when it comes to commitment and relationships. And this is not a verbatim quote from the interview, but she said things like, we want everything now. We want everything quick, and nothing in life is like that. She's referring to a relationship. She says that it's never 50-50, that if you take the span of a relationship, it can be 70-30, 80-20, 60-40, whatever. And that this kind of imbalance can go on for years. It can be imbalance, as well as the discomfort can go on for years. And she feels bad that people give up on the relationships because of these periods of hardship and discomfort. And she said, don't even think about putting kids into it because that just complicates it even more. And she wishes that marriage wasn't romanticized the way that it is, because she says people give up so early and they don't see or reap the rewards that come in your reflection and in your review of the time that you spent together and the period that you endured together. And that 50-50 kind of review, you can see like, oh, actually it was 50-50 because for the first, 10 years, I was really holding it down with the kids while he was going to work. And then the next 10 years, when I went back to work, he was holding down the family and all of the logistics, And then you can see where the balance comes from. But that doesn't happen unless you stick it out. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of opinions about this. But I sat and I listened to another podcast actually talk about this interview as well. And they were very pro this idea of life is hard, relationships are hard, you stick it out, and the fact that we are a generation that wants things fast and we're just trying to avoid discomfort by any means, and that we do not have what it takes to endure long committed relationships, and we're not built for it. It's not going to happen. And inevitably being alone, feeling alienated, is the byproduct of our lack of really committing and sticking to itness that is required in a life that you reap the results after you work hard.
Huh.
And I was like, sounds good. Sounds good. But I don't know. Do you think our generation has it fucked up? You think this idea of soft life, this idea of red flags, this idea of this nigga ain't in therapy, I'm not talking to him. I only talk to niggas that are in therapy if they do this, that, and the third.
I think they're all different. I think everything that you're saying is different. I think the expectation of somebody, one, I think soft life, I don't interpret soft life as when it comes to like, I don't see it as something that has to do with relationships. I see it's as something to do with your approach to how you want, the way you say, how you want your life to feel. And so I think about work first and foremost. I think about how I treat myself, how if I can't work out this day, am I tearing myself up? Am I prioritizing rest? Like, that's how I see it. But I do think that this generation and many folks, now that so much is being, the buzzword is, boundaries. The buzzwords are, gaslighting and therapy and all the things, that I think words mean things. And I think that my friend wrote about this, Obi, and he was writing about how today's generation, we're just labeling people things without any real understanding of what they actually mean and how rare they actually are. And so, someone you might think is self-absorbed, we're like, they're narcissistic, I'm never dealing with them. And it's just like, well, you can have your preferences, but everybody's going to have something to work on. No one's going to come through, if we're talking about with relationships specifically, come through perfect. And no one's always going to be at their best. So I do subscribe to the notion that there are times when someone's going to be giving 30%. The other person has to supplement. And then the hope for me is that my partner will recognize when I can only give 30% and they can supplement. So I think often we look at compromise, we conflate compromise and like self-deprecation. Or not self, excuse me. What? We conflate compromise and like when you're like abandoning your own needs. What is that word? Why can't I think about it? Why can't I?
You said it well.
Okay. And that's not the case. I think that you still have your needs met, but nothing's going to be all the time good. You're going to have to show up, even in our relationship. My mom is not well. You showed up for that week. You have the Christmas village. I'm going to show up. And, but there was conversation involved. There was preparation involved, and there's reciprocation. And so all of those things, I think, are the things that we should be looking for in partners. Not that they're perfect, but that they are able to communicate, that they are able to recognize and acknowledge when they're not able to show up fully. When they're able to then, see that you need help. Like it's a sort of emotional maturity and awareness. And I do think that today's generation expects folks to be perfect all the time, and they discard of them when they're not.
Well,
and that's when I'm like, I'm good. That's not really boundaries. You're actually just becoming, to me, a person with unrealistic expectations who devalues and dehumanizes folks and expects perfection all the time.
I think all of it feels broad, but if I had to generalize, I don't know that in the ways that I resist Michelle Obama's stance, or this idea that relationship is rooted or grounded or stabilized by this idea of struggle or compromise, that just feels old and traditional in a way. And I think if we're on a pendulum swing, yeah, maybe the kids, maybe we're on the far left right now, and it's trying to find language or trying to find footing around something that doesn't necessarily feel true to us anymore, because I think so many of us saw and witnessed our parents and our grandparents maneuvering in that same paradigm of like, we're going to stick it out. This is my role. This is that person's role. I hold down this area. We got to do this for the kids. We got to do this for generational wealth. We got to do this for religion, whatever. But that same kind of like fundamental, like, we will reap the reward in the end. If we play the long game, then that's going to support and reward us more versus I don't feel good. I haven't felt good in 5 years. I don't want to not feel good for 5 years.
But
I don't want to feel good. Just it's less about the person being imperfect, because I don't know that I don't know that Michelle was talking about anybody being perfect, more that you have to buckle down when it's hard and stay on it, because the reward is at the end. Then you can see like, oh, it was balanced.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that was what she was saying, but I don't know if I agree that the pendulum swing is the same. I don't know if I would compare the pendulum swing of like, I can show up this way, at this time, and then you can show up this way at this time, is the same as hunkering down and staying in the same role where there's no reciprocity and there's no conversation and there is no pendulum swing, because the standards are set and I've been unhappy for 5 years and I haven't said anything because you won't care to shift the pendulum to help. I think it's the exact opposite.
What do you mean?
I think the pendulum swing is the exact opposite of that.
I mean like the kids saying, I have no desire to be motivated by my discomfort or your discomfort ever. Like, I'm not doing this transactional thing of like, yeah, you're going to be dog ass tired and take on all of the majority of the labor for 5 years while I do this thing. And then we're going to switch it out. And then at the end, it's balanced. And it's like, oh, I helped you. You helped me. Maybe the kids are like, why does that even have to be the only option? Why is that the only option? Why can't there be pleasure and ease for both of us? Why can't we figure out ways for there to be pleasure and ease? Why does it have to be rooted in like, we're going to hold on tight because times are tough and we got to hang in there. We can't give up.
I don't think I agree. I don't think that it always has to be that somebody's hunkering down and there's always discomfort. I don't think it's
well, that's what she is alluding to, is that is part of marriage.
Well,
it's never,
that's 50-50. A part of life. And so I don't think that folks are recognizing that it's not always pleasurable. It's just not. That's fucking life.
No.
And so when those things happen, which is bound to happen in relationship, people go through shit in relationship. Your partner will be able to show up in a particular way. The hunkering down and the romanticization of struggle is never something that I'm interested in, or something that I think any of us should be interested in. But I don't know. To me, it's like, I don't see it as transactional if I don't see compromise as transactional. I don't see, for instance, let's say you and I are in a relationship, a romantic relationship. I don't know, something happens. You're someone in your life, you have to now turn into a caretaker for a parent. All right? That is going to require a certain amount of energy from you. You are not going to be able to show up in our relationship the same way that you once could. You already have we have a kid already, whatever the case is. I'm going to then supplement what you're not able to do for the time being. And it doesn't mean that I have to like it or that I don't have to have hard days and tell you that I'm having hard days with this and, like whatever. But then and then it will, I'm not interested in the evening out. It's to me, when you love somebody, you show up. Mm-hmm. You show up. And that's the transactional thing that's like, the evening out feels transactional. Now, you don't want to be a fool, but I want to know that person will show up the same way for me.
But what
that
if
it would
that
be
person,
reciprocated.
What if that's too much for that person?
And that's not my person.
But I think that there is failure or selfishness or like, oh, you're an asshole that you gave up. It was too much discomfort for you, and you centering. Also, I mean, I'm not in any way denying that you gave a really good scenario, because a lot of people would say that was fucked up. But
it is,
what if it's too much for that person? Like, I actually
then you
cannot go for 5 because a parent. Now that's a great fucking example, because a parent being ill, that changes the whole dynamic. But also that care is indefinite, because you do not know when a parent is going to pass. That could be 5 years. That could be 10 years. It could be 15 years. Year 7, nigga, I am tired. I am weary. I am not getting what I want. And I desperately need for me to feel alive in my life. And it's eroding, and my surrender and my service to your needs is not fueling me with happiness. It's actually making me resentful.
But that's the thing, though. That's where, and I don't mean to cut you off, but that is where the emotional intelligence and the ability, for me, these are why I look for certain qualities in people. That's where, do you have the ability to communicate that with me? And then we can have conversations around your needs. Maybe that means I have to hire someone to help so that we have to shift. Maybe that means that.
But maybe that person also just is like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm sorry. And I'm not doing the long game with you. And I have to go.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is that when you are to me, because we're specifically talking about marriage, if I were to ever get married, I'm getting married to that person with the understanding that the dynamic might not always be this. With the understanding of, do I love your mother enough? Do I love your sister enough? I'm marrying all of you, which includes your family. It was so clear to me with my sister and her husband, when things happened with my mom, he drove her all the way down to Philly and drove right back to go to work. It wasn't a question. He calls my mother mom. She and I, and he holds me down. No, I am an extension of that. So that is the type of relationship that I'm looking for. That's the hunkering down to me, is that the understanding.
But you can't control another person's truth and reality, nor can you change people.
But I'm not trying to. That's why I'm still single. That's why I'm not married.
Well, I guess still looking for that in a person. Advocate of, I feel like if or our generation who's finding language to step out of performative roles, right? Because it's one thing where it's like, yo, I fucking love you. I love your family. I'm going to stay with you through thick and through thin. And my service to you brings me joy. And I know that that's going to be returned to me. And that reciprocity is the type of relationship that I have.
There's also joy in giving the love.
And giving, yes. But there's some people, I would say a lot of people who get in relationship, don't know what that is or what that requires, are in these relationships for 5 years, 10 years. It gets hot, it gets cold, and they actually don't want to do it anymore.
That's what she's speaking to.
And they leave. And I don't know that is something that needs to be like, oh, you kids are alienated, individualistic, and you don't hang in there to reap the rewards of it. It's like,
Can I ask you a question?
I want it now. I want this thing now. I've done this, worked this thing out with you, and I'm actually don't feel the nourishment of reciprocity with you. Like, I'm done. I can't. I'm not happy.
To me, that's a completely different thing. If you don't feel the nourishment of reciprocity with somebody,
then they have to go.
To me, that has less to do with outside influences and hardship. It has more to do with that person doesn't have it within them to show up for you. What I'm saying is that, to me, I'm more talking about the argument around the hunkering down during bad times. I feel like you should be able to do that if you really love someone. And I'm talking about the percentage thing. I think there's a ton of people who get into relationships and they fall in love with the romance of the relationship, right? They fall in it. They don't rise. They're just like swept off their feet. And that's all that they think come with it. I'm going to tell you something right now. If you are in a relationship, if something happened to where you had to be your whole life, like an outside thing happens and you need to show up for your mother, for your father, for Joe in a particular kind of way, and your partner leaves you as a result of that, I'm going to have a serious issue with that. And I feel like you would too. And it doesn't mean that they're not right in saying like, hey, I don't have that capacity. Respect, fine. But then to me, that's not your person. And that's not the love that I'm looking for.
No,
Does
but
that make sense?
I know it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
But I think our cultural critique of that is there's no space for that range. Like, you're on the bad spectrum, and you're deemed as like individualistic, selfish, when you're just being honest. Like, I don't have it there. I don't have it to give you.
I think it is individualist and selfish if you're talking about it within the confines of a marriage. A marriage is two people committing each other supposedly for the rest of their lives through thick or thin. So
that's a whole other conversation.
Right. When you
that's
dip,
a whole other podcast.
When the thick happens or the thin happens, then you weren't honest. You see what I'm saying? If you're just dating and you're like, you know what, this actually is too much for me.
Why aren't you honest? Why aren't you honest? Because you're in the umbrella of marriage. All of a sudden, the only honesty is I got to hunker down.
I got to be honest. That's why marriage freaks me out, because
your
that's
interpretation of it.
Well, I'm talking about the general interpretation of marriage. Marriages can look very different. Maybe if you're honest within your marriage and you say, hey, I did it, maybe the marriage opens up. Maybe the marriage looks different. Maybe you don't live together anymore because the person can't deal with that. There's all of these possibilities. But again, that takes emotional intelligence. That takes communication. That takes reciprocity and compromise. We're not discussing that. We're talking about somebody just kind of is like, I'm out. I can't deal.
No,
and
I mean, it's in a conversation. You don't just leave. It's like within conversation.
There's tons of different possibilities to what a marriage looks like. and to what that compromise is when things happen. But
it's not the
I don't think that
norm.
no, it's not the norm, but that's we're saying the same thing. It's not the norm, but it's not the norm because I don't think it's because of the confines of things. I think it's because of the emotional intelligence and the inability to explore the possibilities and have the hard conversations about needs. People get so frustrated and resentful around, I feel like, their needs not being met, or they're not being reciprocity. They're not being reciprocity in their relationships. But are you saying that? Are you being honest with your partner?
I think I think the complete opposite. I think that there's these confines. I think a marriage is.
But if you don't want to operate within the confines, you gotta say that for the person to know. And that's okay, and you have to trust that the person will be okay with it. But most people don't.
I think it's again, if we're talking about a cultural paradigm, it's really, really new. It's really, really vulnerable and scary. And it's really, really unpracticed in the greater social acceptance of people having those types of marriages and conversations, and that being accepted. Mm-hmm. Just like I said with Michelle Obama in here, I feel like it's this idea of, which I can't disconnect from capitalism. You work really, really hard at something, regardless of if it hurts, of how you feel about it, because that's what a good worker does. That's what leads you to success in a particular way. That's what's going to make you happy. So if you want to be a good, in the same way, you have this package of marriages, like, all right, you found this person, and to be in a successful marriage and to reap the rewards of it and to find connection, because that's all people want to do, is you hang in there with them. You follow these roles of whatever married people do, and it's going to lead to you be connected and happy together. And 9 times out of 10, people end up being like, something about this doesn't fit right. It doesn't feel right. And I'm a fucked up person. Something's wrong with me. And it's really scary for me to be honest about it, because society has taught me that this is the way things go, for me to be like, nah, I actually don't feel comfortable doing this. I actually don't want to take on this kind of struggle, or whatever the case may be. And it's not, and to say it's like, oh, you just don't have the proper emotional maturity is like, nigga, this is not what humans do.
No,
this is not
that's not what I said. I want to be really
do.
clear. The proper emotional maturity to communicate how you're feeling from jump. Let me just say, I don't agree that if she's saying that you got to get in this marriage, play the certain roles and hunker down. I don't believe in the roles. I think that needs to be blown up. That's not what I'm saying. It's not a role thing. It's a human to human. I love you. I'm going to look out for you and show up.
For the rest of your life.
I'm not married. I'm talking about generally what that structure is saying. But the other thing is, you said it's a hard thing to do, and it's a new thing to do. It's also very new for people to be like, deuces, I'm out. I'm not getting married. My question is, why is it easier for us to discard of the relationship, to say, I'm not dealing, when shit gets hard or when stuff doesn't feel good, to say, oh, I'm out, instead of having the hard conversation of, I'm not feeling good. How can we shift this? How can we? That's the hard part. That's where I'm like, blow up the role. If you're not feeling good, maybe it looks different, but maybe the relationship survives. The love survives. You don't discard of that. Maybe it just looks different. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm like. Either one is new. People aren't getting married the way they are. People are having kids out of wedlock. Women are not having babies. Women are marrying women. It's all new. But the easier the easier approach that people are taking is this, oh, I didn't like that, or this doesn't feel good, so I'm out. And to me, that's not a sustainable approach to love. Not the love that I want. You and I have had so many hard conversations. I couldn't love you more. But we have had so many hard conversations. Hard. Imagine if things got hard with us and we decided to discard of it instead, to say, you know what, this doesn't feel good. I'm not going to do this anymore.
No, that's not what I'm not saying that's what people should do. I'm saying with
I'm not. Yeah. I don't think that's what you're saying. I'm saying that this is what I see. It generally, I don't think that's what you're saying at all. I'm saying that that's what I see. That's how I hear people talk. That's how I hear friends talk. I'm out after 2 years, 1 year of dating. I'm out. Or you break up for 3 weeks, 5 weeks, a couple months, and then nobody really talks about what happened, but somehow you're back together until it repeats itself again, and then you're broken up again and you're coming right back. It's like, when are you going to have the conversation? Yeah. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm not.
I hear what you're saying. But
I don't know. I didn't listen to Michelle, and I don't know. I am with you on the roles. I don't agree with the roles or the play your part and hunker down and everything's going to be okay. I think it's a lot of talking. I'm not in a relationship. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe this is not real. What I'm thinking love, the way people love is. I don't know.
Well, thank you all
questions and answers.
Another episode. Interesting episode of Around the Way Curls. And thank you for listening and following us on this journey. We look forward to more.
Bye. What's the name of that one?
Show us the way, Michelle.
Oh, no.
Obama, show us the way to love. All right. Well, what was the other one? We still have to do that ad?
No, I already did the ad. I already redid it and sent it in, and it's already approved. There's the ad. So just so you know how the ads work, the ads, if we get an ad and it's going to air on Monday, you have to send it in well before Monday because the company has to approve it.
Oh, I thought you said we were re-recording it today.
No, we were supposed to re-record it Wednesday, and then I would have gotten it to them Thursday. But because we couldn't record Wednesday, I just figured it out with what we had. I re-recorded some of mine to match the energy, so whatever. It's fine. It's not what I would have wanted to post on Gumball. Just a FYI. So we're still in need of some sort of audio for that, for people to know who we are. What should this episode? I feel like this one can be something around love being hard. I don't know. Best friends.
Majors is tearing us apart.
That's what I wrote. That's what I wrote, but with a question mark. But it doesn't allude to like
Majors tearing us apart.
I don't know. I felt like for a second he could have been. I was like, let me delete this post.
Why?
No. We're not doing this again.
Did you go delete the post?
No.
Oh, I was about to say, what? How about,
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. A reporter, American journalist Grant Wall, died in Qatar while covering the World Cup. He recently made headlines by reporting he had been detained and briefly refused entry to the World Cup match because he was wearing a rainbow t-shirt. Oh God, I hope that there wasn't like ill. Yeah, my God. Oh God, that's horrible. That is horrible. He's young too. Anyway. So these clips, all of that has to be recorded, uploaded, and then all the directions need to be put in the thing for him. Yeah, but we don't have all the times. They weren't all, captured. I'll ask him to. I mean, it's not. Okay, I don't know. No, it's fine. I can record these clips. Dr. Umar and Trevor Noah for the first one. The main thing, if we just need to give him the directions for Monday's episode right away, and then if you could give him the directions just later on in the day or something for Thursdays, that would be great.
And you'll just put them in the same files that we had for the other boy?
Yeah, it's the same. Here.
Okay.
Go. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same exact way. You can go in the drive. My head hurts, man. Are you in there? You see it? It's we gon' fuck up the night. Like my night. Spacious life. Unapologetic when I fuck up the night. Why is this doing it? You see it?